Hi, second graders. Happy Thursday. Today we are going to read a new book, and this book is called Super Completely and Totally the Messiest. It was written by Judith Fiorst, and the pictures are by Robin Price Glasser, who's also the illustrator of Fancy Nancy, if you've ever heard of Fancy Nancy or read any of those books before. What do you notice about the front cover? The girl on the cover is Sophie, and her sister Olivia will tell you this story about Sophie. How do the title and illustrations give us clues as to what the story is going to be about? It says, super completely and totally the messiest. What clue does that give us? What does the picture show us? There must be someone who's a little messy. Someone who might make a mess wherever she goes, has a hard time keeping clean. Okay, there's definitely some clues. Let's get started on the book. My room is very neat. Like me, Olivia. You know, this is only one page in, but I'm wondering, how do you think Olivia feels about herself? She seems pretty confident, doesn't she? With her smile, her smile on her face and her clean room. Jake, my big brother, is sort of, but not a huge slob. And then there's my little sister, whose room is seriously revolting, which is one of maybe a million reasons why my sister Sophie is super completely and totally the messiest. Hello, is anyone home? I ask when I open the door to her room, because even when she's there, it's hard to find her. I mean, there's so much stuff on her bed that sometimes I just see the top of her head. And there's so much stuff on her floor and spilling out of her dresser drawers that sometimes all I can find is a nose or a toe. And there's so much stuff in her closet that once when she opened up her closet, "Don't do it," I hollered. "Stop! Watch out! Oh no!" She super completely and totally disappeared. I mean, Sophie isn't just messy, she is the messiest. Maybe you think that Sophie isn't so messy when she's in school. If you think that, you would be really wrong. Maybe you think that she isn't a mess when she puts on a fancy dress and goes to a birthday party. If you think that, you would be really wrong. Maybe you even think that she could play with crayons or paints and not mess up ceilings and cats and herself and everything. If you think that, you would be so really, really wrong that it might be a year before you are right about anything. I'm her big sister, and some things I know for sure. And one thing I know for sure is that whatever Sophie does, she is the messiest. Like, once we went to the seashore where they were having a sandcastle contest, and Sophie was carrying just her pail and her towel. And just with her pail and her towel, she super completely and totally wrecked 7 sandcastles. And once we went to a circus where a juggler was juggling eggs and pitchers and flower pots. Sophie got to bring her kite along. And just by letting go of her kite, Sophie wrecked the juggler and a dozen eggs and all of the pitchers and flower pots. And once we went to a farm to visit some chickens and cows and a vegetable garden and pigs. Sophie's shoelaces they're always untied. All I can say is, poor chickens, poor cows, and poor vegetable garden. No, I can say something else. I can say that all of the pigs on that farm thought that my sister Sophie was their cousin. No, I'm not a rude person. I would never, ever, ever call Sophie a pig. I'm only saying that pigs think Sophie's a pig. I'm only saying this, that wherever my sister Sophie goes, she is super completely and totally the messiest. How does Olivia prove that Sophie's the messiest? She gives some examples, right? Where is Sophie messy? She's messy everywhere she goes, isn't she? She's messy at the farm, she's messy at the circus, she's messy at the beach. So wherever she goes, there's definitely a lot going on. A lot of mess, a lot of maybe some chaos, it seems like. keep on telling Sophie, try to be neat like me, Olivia. Or try to be neat like me, Olivia. She says she'll try to be neat, but she forgets. Our mom keeps telling Sophie, try to be careful, like Olivia. She says she'll try to be careful, but she forgets. Our dad keeps telling Sophie, watch where you're going and watch what you're doing. Try to pay attention, like Olivia. She says she'll try to watch. She says she'll try to pay attention, but she forgets. How do you think the members of Sophie's family feel about her? What do you think? It seems like they really want her to act like the other sister, don't they? I wonder how that makes her feel. And so, when Sophie cleans up a mess, it's a messier mess than it was before she started. When Sophie clears off the plates, they'll never, ever, ever need to be cleared off again. And if you bought a new car and you gave Sophie a ride in that car, it would look like a really old car in about 2 minutes. Sophie is always making and being a mess. Why do you think Sophie's so messy? Why do you think she is the messiest? It's kind of a hard question to think about. I mean, are some kids just a little messier than others? Are some kids a little different than others? Yeah, is that okay? Like last Halloween when Sophie decided to wear a nurse's costume. White hat, white uniform, white socks, white shoes. She wanted to dress like a nurse because I told her that a nurse is never messy. What I meant, of course, was a nurse isn't messy unless she's the sort of nurse who tricks and treats all over with her white uniform. Unless she's a nurse who gets candy corn stuck in her teeth. Unless she's a nurse who falls in when she bobs for apples. Unless she's a nurse who could make you super completely and totally sorry that you ever answered the doorbell on Halloween. Oh, there's the photo from the cover. What I mean is, maybe you've met some messy people, but you've never met anyone messier than Sophie. Like, Sophie's got this hair, this frizzy, fuzzy, curly hair, and it sticks out around her head like a cloud or a nest. And it keeps getting bigger and higher and bigger and higher and bigger and higher because she freaks if anyone tries to cut it. Hey, Sophie, who's living in there? A couple of birds? Family of mice? That's what Jake sometimes says. He's only teasing. But once when our dad was combing her hair, he combed out a whistle, a ring, and a piece of a sandwich. And once when our mom was combing her hair, I thought I heard some chirping and some squeaks. If you're looking to see messy hair, if you're looking to see messy anything, just look at Sophie. I keep on telling Sophie, try to be more like me, Olivia. She says she'll try to be like me, but she forgets. Our mom keeps telling Sophie, try to hold the plates tight, like Olivia. She says she'll try to hold tight, but she forgets. Our dad keeps telling Sophie, wipe off your mouth and your hands and your shoes. Try to be unchocolatey, like Olivia. She says she'll try to wipe. She says she'll try to be unchocolatey, but she forgets. And just listen to what happened when Sophie said to Jake and me, could we please help her make our mom breakfast in bed for Mother's Day? No, she didn't spill the orange juice. Jake and I helped her pour it. She didn't burn the toast. We helped watch the toast. We also helped her to not smear the strawberry jam all over the kitchen and to not put a ton of cereal in the bowl. And our dad said he would make coffee and bring it up later, so Sophie didn't get to mess up that. Then all of us carefully carried the tray to the bedroom. Mom sat up in bed and we sat down the tray. Whose idea was it to do breakfast in bed for the mom? Then Sophie felt so proud that she made our mom breakfast in bed that she climbed on the bed and started yelling, yay, yay! Except that while she was yelling, yay, yay, she also jumped up and down. Which is not a good thing to do to breakfast in bed. It was super completely and totally ugly. Nobody's better at making a mess than Sophie. Our mom says I should tell you that Sophie's a kind and very nice person, even though she messes up breakfasts and beds. Our dad says I should tell you that Sophie's a smart and funny person, even though she wrecks sandcastles, jugglers, and vegetable gardens. Jake says I should tell you that Sophie's great at puzzles and dancing, even though she's not great at cleaning her room. Sophie says I should tell you that she didn't mean to drown the kitchen in water, even though she left the faucets running. And I would like to tell you that even though I would bet my best bracelet that Sophie will never be practically perfect like me, I'm hoping that one of these days she'll start to remember to stop forgetting to not try to be so super completely and totally the messiest. Even though Sophie's messy, she has some good qualities. What are the good qualities that you learned about Sophie? We learned she's nice, right? We learned she's smart, she's funny, she's good at puzzles, and she's great at dancing. She makes mistakes, but she doesn't mean to. And yeah, you know, she really tries. It seems like she tries her best. So even though Sophie's messy, she does have a lot of really good qualities. And I don't know, I think it would be really hard to be compared to your sister all the time like she is. They compare her to her a lot and say you should be more like her. And Olivia and Sophie are very different, but they both have good qualities. And I'm sure that our narrator, so Olivia, the one who is telling us the story, I'm sure she has some qualities that aren't perfect too, right? Because nobody's perfect. We all make mistakes. Now, I'm going to put a couple of questions on Seesaw for you to answer about the story, and you're going to do the same thing you've done all week, which is you're going to, for independent reading, you're going to identify who the characters are, you're going to tell me the setting, and you're going to tell me when the story takes place, okay? I just wanted to first mention this, though. So in the story we read yesterday, which was Pecan Pie Baby, there was a message, there was a theme, and that message was, you know, families might grow and change, because remember the character Gia's mom is having a baby. Families might grow and they might change, but the people in a family, no matter what, always love each other. And in this book we just read, the message is anyone perfect? No, nobody's perfect, but everybody's special in some way. And I want you to think about that even with yourself, okay? Even with yourself. What's special about you? What makes you unique? What are some of your really good qualities that you have? I think sometimes we can be hard on ourselves. And it's important that we think about all the good things about us too, okay? So I'm not going to write the chart out again because that takes a lot of time, and you've seen me do it 3 times. But I would say that the characters in the story are Olivia, Sophie, they're the main characters, and then Jake, and the mom and the dad. The setting, most of the story takes place at their home, but some of the story takes place at places like the beach and the circus. But most of the story is at home. And then when does it take place? It takes place during the day, and yeah, that's it. Don't forget to answer the questions about this book, and please remember to read for 20 minutes and complete your activity on Seesaw. Have a great day.